Hello, it's Dr. Morris again. Been working on a case here of type 1 who also has a thyroid and parathyroid weakness, 7 years old. I've been asked about hypothyroidism, and I want to address that, of course. A very common problem that we have, Hashimoto's. You've got all kinds of thyroid problems out there. You've got people with goiters out there. And so it's important to understand what's going on there and what you have to do to find remedy. The remedy allopathically is to simply give you a T4, which is a hormone produced by the thyroid gland. A synthetic one at that. Some people are taking Armour, which is actually thyroxine, which T4 converts into, and they take the natural thyroxine. The problem with either of these hormones or pre-hormones is the fact that it'll actually make your thyroid weaker. If you understand that the thyroid is part of the endocrine gland system, and when you look at your body, the endocrine glands is the government of your body. Friendly government, not crooked like the one we seem to have right now, but we've got a real friendly government because it realizes it's made from the same thing everybody else is. We're all cells. And if you review the videos on the lymphatic system, it'll really help you to understand the body a little more, because the thyroid is just a bunch of cells and two fluids. The adrenal glands, a bunch of cells and two fluids. The kidneys, a bunch of cells and two fluids. The muscles, a bunch of cells and two fluids. The bunch of cells makes up everything. Everything in your body is nothing but cells, no matter what shape or size they take. The two fluids that flow around every cell, it's kind of like Mississippi right now. You got a house stuck in the middle of the river. Well, that's how your cells are. Your cells are stuck in the middle of a river, but this is a river called interstitial fluids. And this river of fluids is 75% lymphatic fluids, which is the sewer fluids, and only 25% blood, which is the kitchen. That feeds the cell, and then the sewer fluids help to clean the waste from cells. So when you look at the endocrine glands, they're the government. They control every process that goes on in the body, including the nervous system, which then that controls every process. So it's intricately tied together. But however, these endocrine glands control everything. And they produce hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters, which runs the nervous system, and of course enzymes, like digestive enzymes. The thyroid obviously controls the rate of how fast you digest your foods. One that has a hyper or a fast-paced thyroid can eat 5-6 meals a day and not gain an ounce. Hypothyroid is a slow oxidizer or digester, meaning that you can eat 1 meal a day and take all day to digest it because your metabolism's slow. That controls the heart rate as well. So when your heart rate runs fast, that's your thyroid kicking up your heart rate, either to oxygenate your body or your thyroid's being overstimulated. And it's the opposite. A slow bradycardia or a slow heart rate is a hypothyroid case. Now, this hypo or hyper condition can exist in any of the endocrine glands. The pituitary, of course, is the main gland. And it controls the thyroid gland by the production of TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Most people have a lot of pituitary problems, which is not even considered in allopathic lore. They just focus in on the thyroid. The problem with the thyroid, besides the rate of metabolism and what thyroxine does, is the calcitonin produced by the thyroid, and of course the thyroid's twin brothers, the parathyroid glands. And the parathyroid gland is located on the back and on top of the thyroid glands. And the thyroid and parathyroid glands' job is to control your calcium utilization in your body. Most people don't realize that. So when you see bruising or varicose veins or spider veins or hemorrhoids or brittle nails or prolapsus bladders and uteruses and bowels and skin and easy to fracture bones, depression, big time depression, parathyroid weakness, the inability of the body to utilize calcium. You can't just take calcium and correct that, or you'll give yourself arthritis. You need parathyroid hormones. So when I'm a cell, let's say I'm a cell in your thyroid, how do you make me weak? How do I not perform for you? What affects my functional ability as a cell anywhere in your body, but we're talking about the thyroid? Well, the first thing's obvious, genetics. And I'm going to shoot another video here on genetics, and this is particularly aimed at the younger folk and what serious problems you guys are facing because we didn't have the awareness to rebuild ourselves before we passed our weaknesses to you. So big time problems in young people today, and I need to address that so you guys know how to get yourselves out of trouble. I tried to touch that on different videos here, but very important. I'm going to do one video on genetics. It's a fact. Medical doctors are lost in that world. It's easy to understand genetics. But my genetic memories is how I perform as a cell or how I don't perform for you. And it's memories. It's not me as a cell. It's my memories. Just like you. Your life is based upon your memories from your childhood, your church or synagogue, or your Buddhism, or whatever spiritual path you're on, whatever your community thinks, your patriotism, all this brainwashing we go through. A lot of times our belief systems are based upon all false propaganda. And it's until you grow up and you get out into life and you experience life do you learn better a lot of times. A lot of times we respond not with knowledge, but from our belief systems. That's genetics in a sense. And same with cells. My expertise is in genetic remembering of cells. And one day I will do a video on quantum physics and advanced consciousness, and we will talk about how you rebuild the consciousness or the genetic weaknesses within your cells, because this is what is essential in the young people today. So important to understand that aspect of a thyroid weakness. Also important to understand that the pituitary is a big suppressor of the thyroid in and of itself. Goiters, swelling, that's all the lymphatic system. Again, I don't want to go into the lymphatic system on this video. Review the other videos, but your lymph system is the sewer system. This all spawns from one thing, kidney and adrenal gland weakness, where your body's not filtering this lymphatic system. We get big goiters in here all the time. Easy to get rid of goiters. You don't have to remove your thyroid gland. Has nothing to do with it. That's your lymph system in your thyroid gland. Easy to fix that. Get these lymph nodes under the arms, the axillary lymph nodes cleaned out, get the kidneys to filter them, and everybody drains. In hypo cases where there's underactivity of a gland, you have to look at whether it's a pituitary or the thyroid. Too complicated to tell you in a video like this. I do the iris work, which is an in-depth look at the cells of the body, and I can tell you from that. But when you learn how to analyze a person through their symptoms, it's easy to tell whether they're having pituitary or thyroid problems. Those particularly without tonsils are going to have these problems because the tonsils are the lymph nodes or the septic tanks to the brain, at least part of them, and very serious not to remove them. Medical doctors never knew how to simply clean out septic tanks instead of remove them. In the hypothyroidism, I do use what's called glandulars. And these are desiccated bovine source of glands. Now, all those are Puritans out there might be mad at me. But I do believe that everything is karmically tied, even the animals. So important we have some very chronic cases of hypothyroidism. The adrenals in most people are shot. If you have blood pressure below 120, you have low adrenal function. And the lower you go, the more serious that is. And that's your neurotransmitters for the autonomic, and that's your steroids. And you check both arms in blood pressure. Your blood pressure is simply your adrenal glands on top of your kidneys, systolic on top of diastolic. Diastolic represents your kidneys. It's easy to get rid of high blood pressure. The problem in most people, including high blood pressure cases, that in reality they have low blood pressure, because that's a weakness that ends up becoming high blood pressure in time. So important in terms of looking at glandulars, I do use desiccated glands to increase the function. It's almost like stem cell type of thinking. It gets into physics and magnetics and like attracts like, so to speak, and how magnetics increases magnetics, the homeostasis of physics. So it's kind of understanding how that is when you take glandulars. But in a chronic state of the young people, we almost have no choices, because using botanicals is a slow process, even though very aware. Botanicals for the glands are much slower. They will do the job, but much slower. All your berries out there are all for the glands of the body. So eat a lot of berries in your diet. Most suppression, even genetics, is coming from your lymph system. So you want to always move on your lymphatic system. A lot of people have hypothyroidism from all the mucus. And this mucus comes from the use of milk. After age 2, remember, your body can't digest or use milk. We're biologically supposed to be weaned. But then we do something in our society. We're so scared of bacteria, we don't understand their important role. We think we can kill them, so we pasteurize everything. We blame everything on pathogens and nothing on the culturing medium. So really go after that lymph system. Understand what your lymphatic system is and how that is tied to the kidneys and the control the adrenal glands has on that, and you'll have more knowledge than most medical doctors by far. Not to beat up medical doctors all the time, but if we don't stop killing people and hurting people in that community, there's going to be some serious repercussions coming that way. We don't have to hurt each other to get each other well. You don't have to hurt people with deadly pharmaceuticals and these toxic chemicals. I mean, we have to stop this. We have to stop this FDA and these pharmaceutical companies from hurting us, because that's what's going on. Just listen to the commercials on TV and listen to some of these side effects. Death, coma, blood clots, strokes, heart attacks. That's acceptable. I've never seen an herb do that to anybody. In 40 years of the massive use of herbs, I've never seen them hurt anybody. So we've got to stop the slaughter of each other and start helping each other and bring love to this planet and help each other get well. It's not difficult. And the same thing with the thyroid or the pituitary or the adrenals. It doesn't matter. Or the ovaries, the prostates. These are all endocrine glands. And all these glands are nothing but cells and 2 major fluids. Always realize that your lymph system is what breaks things down, because it deals with the acid or corrosive side of chemistry. The blood cannot deal with acids, therefore your lymph system cannot dump its waste back into the venous system as medical doctors think. Impossible, and you still stay alive. Your kidneys are major filters of this gigantic sewer system, and when they fail, you see lymphedema. Well, the average person doesn't realize they pee okay, and they think, okay, my kidneys are working well. No, you've got a filter from your kidneys. And the filtration of the lymph system through the kidneys will breed a very cloudy urine. When you pee, you want to see sediment in your urine. This is all tied into cleaning all the glands. I've always said, whether it's hypothyroidism, adrenal insufficiency, I don't care what problem you have, detox the lymph system. Get your acids out of these tissues. Get all this mucus, this inflammation, in other words, get all this stuff out of the body and strengthen your cells that comprise your human body. And there's nothing you can't correct. There's no condition. There's no care how advanced it is. I've seen the bodies of twisted people with extreme Lou Gehrig's that were all twisted like donuts, and their skin grown to each other, totally untwist and come right back out of it. I've had Fox News filming some x-rays of extreme scoliosis and old fractures that had healed out of shape, and the body pulled itself back straight. The power your body has is amazing. We've got to get our heads out of this treatment-based thinking and start understanding, how do we make the cells, whether it's the thyroid, the parathyroid, the pituitary, the adrenals, the thymus, how do we make our cells healthy? You must learn that the lymph system is the major system that breaks down tissue, because it deals with the acid corrosive side of chemistry. How simple. All the body is a bunch of cells and 2 fluids, and there's only 2 sides to chemistry. That's pretty easy, guys. And you get that, and you've got a great knowledge there. if you need help, always call the clinic. They can help you with these cases. And the diet's always raw, always fruitarian's much better. It's a good start. The herbs we need them. I can only tell you, I've been dealing with botanicals for 40 years. Without the botanicals, hard way to go. Hard way. I get a lot of people that are raw foodists, that are fasters, and they're just not getting it nowadays. You got to go deeper, more power, more energetics, and that gives you into the fruits and into the herbs. So I hope I helped you a little bit with the hypothyroid cases. Always raw, get in the herbs, always move your lymph, get your kidneys moving, get your bowels cleaned up, because your transverse bowel can actually be responsible for draining the sinus and the throat and the thyroid lymphatically. So you always want to clean this hub. This is the embryonic trunk in the embryo. You want to clean this gut tissue up, get your kidneys filtering, fix the adrenals on top. And if you have to use glandulars, you have to use glandulars to do this. That you'll need a practitioner to help you with those. Use the herbs to also, there's herbs for the adrenals and thyroids out there, and really get your health back. And it's a fun ride, it's an energetic ride, it opens up the mind, it quiets the mind, it brings about a far greater awareness, and it's a heck of a fun ride, and the body feels really good too. So listen, it was good talking to you today, and I appreciate your questions. Keep bringing them in. I'll try in a timely manner. I'm very busy, so I apologize if I don't get something to you in time, but we'll always try to help you, okay? Get well. All right, thank you, and have fun today, okay? Bye-bye.